In this video, we're going to discuss everything you need to know about business insurance. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. So when it comes to protecting your business insurance is one of those things that you need to make sure that you have on your list. And although I know that it can be pretty daunting as you explore what your options are in regards to business insurance, I do want to try to make that process a little bit easier for you. But of course, I do want to notate that I am no expert in this field. So this is just my personal opinion that I am providing. In no way, shape, or form am I advising that you get any of the business solution options that I am talking about in today's video. So now that we've gotten that out the way, I want to actually explain what business insurance is and ultimately why it's important that you have it. So think of business insurance as additional protection. It allows you the opportunity to protect your business in the likelihood that an unexpected event happens. Let's say, for example, a natural disaster, an accident, or even a lawsuit. Business insurance allows you the opportunity to have that additional layer of protection in the instance that any of those cases do occur. However, business insurance is only as strong as the policies that you have in place. And this is why it's important that you actually understand what business insurance is and ultimately what it is protecting. There are a multitude of different business insurance that's out there. So it's important that you do your research to understand which options are going to be best for you in your recruiting and or staffing agency. It's also important to note that contingent on the business entity that you have, you might be thinking that you do have some layer of protection. If you have an LLC, for example, it does provide some layer of protection in regards to your personal assets. However, it's not actually considered to be any form of insurance. So if an accident, natural event, or even a lawsuit were to happen, you having an LLC alone is not going to protect you from any of those events. You also want to keep in mind that based on certain business types or even statutes based on the business that you're operating, for example, if you do have employees that are a part of your business, federal requirements are associated with the type of insurance that you need to have. For example, if you're running a staffing agency, you're going to need to make sure that you have unemployment insurance, disability insurance, and workers' compensation insurance. Now, the other layer is the state level. There may be some requirements within the United States in regards to additional layers of insurance that you need to have in regards to your business. So again, I can't stress it enough, the importance of you doing your due diligence and your own research to determine, based on the state that you're in, what types of insurance you should have. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, then be sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that do drop weekly. Now, you're probably wondering, what are some of the types of insurance then that are out there? The four common insurance that are out there are going to be general liability insurance, professional liability insurance, product liability insurance, and commercial property insurance. And I want to go through each of those four. That way you have a little bit of an idea in regards to what it is that they actually cover. So general liability insurance can cover any type of business. Ideally, what general liability insurance does is it provides coverage in case of any bodily injury or harm, property damage, medical expenses, or even in the event of a lawsuit and or settlement. General liability insurance is very general in nature, as you can see, so it covers a broad spectrum of things. Now, moving on to professional liability insurance. Professional liability insurance is geared towards businesses that provide some form of a service to their customers. Think of this from the perspective of a recruiting and or staffing agency or even a cleaning service. This type of insurance is put in place to protect against any sort of financial loss as a result of negligence, error, or malpractice. For example, if you're thinking about this from the perspective of a recruiting or staffing agency and protecting against some form of an error, you can actually think about this in terms of your contract. Maybe the contract that you put together for a potential client omitted a very important clause, which has now caused that client some financial hardship. Having professional liability insurance can come in handy in regards to being able to protect you in the event that a lawsuit comes because of that error. Now, the next insurance that we're going to talk about is product liability insurance. And this type of insurance is leveraged leverage for any type of business that is distributing, wholesaling, or even manufacturing any sort of retail product. This type of insurance is put in place to protect the business in the event of extreme financial loss due to a defective product or any bodily harm caused because of that defective product. And finally, you have commercial property insurance. And this one is pretty self-explanatory. If you're a business that has significant physical assets, such as a storefront, then this insurance is going to help to protect that physical asset. Let's say, for example, there's a natural disaster that happens, such as a tornado or a hurricane. Having commercial property insurance can help to ensure that you're able to get compensated in the event that that natural event ruins your business or your physical asset. Now, this one might not be leveraged as much because, again, with the type of business that you're looking to do with a recruiting or staffing agency, you don't necessarily need a commercial property in order to be able to do that. You can run this business from the comforts of your home. But again, it is important to at least mention for those who may be interested in going down that route. Now that we've had the opportunity to discuss the type of insurance that's out there, I think it's important that I provide at least some things for you to take into consideration as you review various insurance policies. Number one is to assess what your individual risks are. Make sure that you go in having an understanding of exactly what it is that you need protection from. Again, if you are running your business from home, is a commercial property insurance policy really going to be helpful for you? Probably not. You want to make sure that you're getting insurance that's protecting you against the right things. The next thing that you want to keep in mind is that you do want to work with a reputable company. There are a lot of insurance companies that are out there. Not all have a good reputation though. You want to make sure that you're working with a reputable company that's going to be able to provide you with a policy that's going to be ironclad and ultimately provide you with the protection that you need. The next thing that you want to do is explore all of your options. It is okay to shop around when it comes to insurance. Don't just take the first policy that is written for you. You want to make sure that you have a thorough understanding of the cost of the policy as well as what is actually going to be included within that policy. From a cost perspective, business insurance can definitely vary. It can be a couple $100s a month to a couple $1,000s a month, contingent on the layer of protection that you want. Again, you want to be very mindful about what you're able to afford and ultimately making sure that you're putting a policy in place that's going to provide you with the layer of protection that you need. But of course, keeping your overhead costs in mind. And lastly, you're going to want to make sure that you do a yearly review of your insurance policy. Just because you've signed your insurance policy, unless there is an obligation for you to stay within that policy for X amount of time, you do not have to. Make sure you're doing a yearly review to ensure that what's within your policy still protects you against the things that are happening within your business. You have to keep in mind that your business is going to be ever changing. It's going to be evolving. You're going to be getting into new things. You're going to be making even more money and you're going to increase your revenue streams. With all of those new things that are happening, you need to make sure that you have an insurance policy in place that's going to be able to protect you if anything does happen. So make sure you're doing that yearly review to ensure that the policy that you do have in place is going to be still helpful for you for the next year. Ultimately, when it comes to business insurance, it's important to understand all the dynamics that are associated with it. I can probably make this video an hour long just talking about all of the nitty-gritty details associated with it, but I wanted to make sure that I provided you with at least a foundational understanding of what business insurance is, the types that are out there, and ultimately what it is that you should take into consideration in regards to exploring policies. For me personally, general liability insurance as well as professional liability insurance definitely makes sense for a recruiting and or staffing agency. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, as well as if you're not in my Facebook group, I highly encourage that you join because we are in there talking all things recruiting. I'll be sure to leave that link down below in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.